Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I'd like to talk about three words you may recognize as part of the Army training doctrine. These words are shoot, move, and communicate. They're simple words that are not only they don't only describe a soldier's goals to master the skills for the Army, but they also are surprisingly applicable in my life and describing my interests. Growing up, like most boys, I played cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers, and Army, using squirt guns, water balloons, and Nerf toys. That's what really sparked my interest in guns and shooting. I got a little older, and a friend of mine had a BB gun. We spent hours, of course, target practice, and that's when I started getting the idea of like a better understanding of marksmanship, the trajectory, range, and so forth. When I was a freshman in high school, registering, what caught my eye was a booth that the JROTC had set up. They had a pellet gun, or pellet rifle, I should say. With my parents' permission, I asked to join JROTC and eventually joined the rifle team, where I really learned the intricacies, the shooting, proper breathing, squeezing techniques, and so forth. Of course, joined Army ROTC, got a chance to fire a real M16 finally. But surprisingly, when I joined the Army, I was, unlike the Marines, I was surprised we only fired once a year. I was a signal officer, so that's not your primary duty, unlike the infantry that shoot every day. That led me to pursue acquiring my own weapons just for proficiency's sake. I ended up buying a 9mm and a M4 equivalent, which is AR-15. Some of you guys might recognize that. Good thing about being in the military is the ranges are all free. Pretty much any post has a rifle range, so I maintained my proficiency there. While at the range, early on, I met a good friend who had his President's 100 tab, and those of you guys who might be familiar with that, it's an annual competition at Camp Perry up in Ohio, where the best shooters in the world compete for basically recognition as a President's 100, top 100 in pistol category, rifle, and so forth. I actually trained with him for a while, trying to. I had planned on going up there competing, but just like anything else, you're busy in life, and I'll get to it one of these days. As a military brat, I grew up all over the world. I lived in Germany, Italy, Korea, and of course several places in the continental U.S., including, of course, California, Texas, Alabama, Alaska, North Carolina. It was great moving around, but I also enjoyed learning how to move. Some of my earliest memories in childhood were sneaking around the house, trying to surprise my family and pets, not vindictively, of course. But what I always remember is, no matter how quiet I was, I'm peeking around the corner, and of course the cat's staring at me right. So that just encouraged me to practice a little bit more. I joined the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, where I went to land nav orienteering. That's basically either train association or dead reckoning with a compass and a map. That was a lot of fun. That served me well in the military as well. Also got a chance in JROTC and ROTC in college, and of course in the Army, to improve those skills and continue that refinement of the land nav. It served me well. Finally, my dad was into ham radio when I was young. He had all sorts of equipment in the room, and of course, like father, like son, I learned Morse code, made my own transistor radio, and back then you had to have Morse code. You had to learn Morse code for your ham operator's license. But that's what got me started in communications. Got an Apple II, which some of you guys might have had. I was interested in learning how to communicate, getting up on bulletin boards and such, or networking for games. That led me into the Army, where, like I mentioned before, I was a signal officer, did automation support before going simulations, and that's why I'm here at the Naval Postgraduate School learning simulations now. And basically, today I discussed those three shooting, moving, and communicating techniques. I hope you have a little bit more insight on my life and how it's influenced me. And thank you for your time. That's my time.